So the other day, I made a recording about Bishop Carlton Pearson, who had recently passed away. And I wasn't intending to be controversial. I didn't think it really was that controversial. I mean, the guy's dead. But it's amazing how hateful Christians get when somebody says something they disagree with about Christianity. I mean, they instantly, they're just, honestly, they're just as bad as the leftists that they talk about going to extremes. And what I'm talking about is, as I said in that video, Carlton Pearson stated in the 90s that he heard from God that they did away with the hell. That's why Jesus died, was that nobody had to be punished for their sins. And I, just like in that video, am not saying I agree or disagree. That's not the point to me. But what I found astonishing was how many people, the majority of 70 comments, were about how Carlton Pearson was going to be burning in hell, or that he was steering people wrong and he was going to be punished for it, and basically how he is basically that lost all connection with Jesus, that he doesn't believe in Jesus anymore. And in fact, I've even seen friends of mine say that I hope he found Jesus before he died. And I asked this on Facebook, and it was amazing that I still got people that said this, because I even said, I am not saying that hell is real or is not real. That's not the question. What I'm asking is, where in the Bible does it say that if you don't believe in hell, you are going to go to hell, and that not believing in hell is a sin? Where does it say that? Nobody can tell me where it says that. In fact, everybody says it. Well, it doesn't really say that, but Jesus talked about it, so therefore you have to believe in hell. Well, yeah, Jesus did talk about it. According to Carlton Pearson, there was a hellish experience, but Carlton Pearson also showed in the Bible where he found verses that said everybody goes to heaven, basically, that Jesus died for everybody's sins. And again, I'm not saying that that's exactly what it's saying, that people do go to heaven, don't go to heaven, but I'm not saying that. That's not the point. But why must Christians get so hateful if somebody doesn't believe in hell? I mean, it's like they can't help but attack people for saying that there is no such thing as hell. What is the purpose of believing in hell? Why is it so important? If you're taking a trip to Florida, must you know what road will take you to California to get to Florida? Do you have to know what road will take you to California to get to Florida? No, you don't. If you know the road to go to Florida, you don't have to know the road to go to California. If you are following Jesus, what does it matter about hell? If you are following Jesus because you love him, because you agree with him, why must you follow him because you're scared of hell? What is the purpose of being scared of hell? Doesn't the Bible actually say that fear is not of the Lord? That we are not made to be fearful? Doesn't it say that? So why are we so focused on hell? Why do we have to beat people in the head with it? Well, for the same reason that that people did during Jesus's time when he got crucified. The Emperor Constantine and a lot of pagans that did not believe in an afterlife thought, well, just in case there is an afterlife, I'm going to hedge my bets and I'm going to get baptized when I die. And so they would get baptized, even though they were not Christians. And I've talked to people, I have talked to good friends of mine that have said, I would much rather believe in Jesus and be wrong than to not believe in him and be wrong. But that's the wrong reason for falling. If you're, okay, let's say you're married. Let's assume that you're married and your wife or your husband tells you, or you tell them, that their life is going to be hell if they don't marry you. And you made them believe this. If they marry you, are you ever going to question whether they actually truly loved you or whether they were just loving you because they didn't want to spend the rest of their life in hell? What's the purpose of it? Yeah, I don't really care whether you believe in hell or not. I don't actually care what your beliefs are. But you should care. You don't have to be scared of everything. You don't have to be scared of hell. I grew up in hell. I'm not scared of hell anymore. I've been tortured. I spent a good percentage of my childhood being tortured. That's not why I follow goodness and righteousness. I don't do what's right because of the consequences. I do what's right because it's right. And as a Christian, shouldn't that be why you follow Jesus? Shouldn't that be why you follow the 3 years worth of lessons he gave you? Because he's telling you natural laws. He wasn't the first person to talk about this. He was the first person to talk about this to the Jews. But there's a lot of teachers, ascended masters, that have spoke about the same stuff. Now, I'm not saying they're Jesus, and I'm not saying they are gods, but I'm saying that it's a natural truth. Don't murder. Don't covet your neighbor or your neighbor's spouse. Don't covet their property. Don't steal. I mean, all this is good things to follow. And Jesus came and said, hey, love everybody. The most important commandment is to love everybody. And everybody likes to point out, well, he spoke more about hell than anything else. No, it spoke that in the Bible more than anything else. That doesn't mean he spoke about that more than anything. One. And I don't care what you say. I'm not saying that the Bible is not the holy word or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to be an idiot to think that the Bible holds everything that Jesus ever talked about. That it's all encompassing, that it's everything. Because everybody knows it's not. But politicians love to talk about punishment. Who created the Bible? Politicians. The Council of Nicaea, put together by Emperor Constantine. The King James Version, put together by the King James. The Vatican, they're politicians. They're going to figure out the best way to control people. Whether it's right or wrong, whether it's telling the truth or not telling the truth, that's not what I'm talking about. But you can nitpick everything. The point is that you want people to follow Jesus because they love him, because they respect him. It doesn't matter if somebody's scared of hell or not. Yeah, it's a great marketing tool if you're lazy and you're stupid. It is. Because people use punishment all the time to raise their kids. Now, sometimes there is a place for it, because punishment is a mortal construct. See, we're limited by time and knowledge, education, information. We only have, a certain amount of years while somebody's still alive on this earth. We also only have a certain amount of information to know what will get them to change. And that's a hard one, because who knows? Everybody has their different limits and different things that will get them to change. So we have punishment because we need them to change quickly, or to get them out of our way quickly. But in the grand scheme of things, punishment is not a thing. You don't need to be punished if you know what will get them to change. If you know how long it'll take to get them to change, why punish? Oh, well, here in 2,000 lifetimes, they'll change. In 2,000 years, it'll change. Whatnot, if you know what will change them. Energy doesn't die. That's a fact. That's a scientific fact. But instead of pushing this controlling agenda and trying to get people to be so scared of hell that they go to heaven. And remember, if you scare somebody into heaven, you didn't gain loyalty. Because I've tried getting people, my first and second wife, to quit smoking. They didn't actually quit smoking. If a person doesn't want to do it, if a person doesn't really believe it, but they just don't want to go to hell, that's why you get people that, they don't research the Bible. You say the Bible is so important, why doesn't anybody read it? Most Christians I've spoke to are not versed in the Bible at all. They listen to the Bible based on what their preachers tell them or their pastors. That's the most they know anything about the Bible or what they were taught growing up. And most of that is just dogma that's not even in the Bible. There's a lot of things that people call biblical that's not, just because. You hear people say that they're truth seekers, yet you say anything that contradicts what they always believed because they believe the King James Version, but Jesus didn't speak English. Jesus didn't speak Greek. He might have known Greek, I don't know. He spoke Hebrew, but that was not his native tongue. And there's idioms for that area. Anybody that knows anything about translating things, you can translate words, but if you don't know the idioms, you can completely get something wrong. Well, they didn't know anything about the idioms. So if somebody with new eyes looks at it, or somebody that's from the Assyrian area, they're Assyrian or whatnot, and they know the culture, they're like, well, this is actually what it means. Kind of changes things. 34,000 different denominations of Christianity. Why is that? If there's only one way, and there's only one way to look at things, and it's not subjective, why is there 34,000 different denominations? And I hear people giving stupid excuses like, well, they're not big differences. They're not. That's easy to say. There are some really big differences in some of them. There are Christians that don't believe in hell. I've met them. There are Christians that believe in reincarnation. And they've told me why they believe reincarnation exists. And there's nothing in the Bible that says reincarnation doesn't exist. And there is one part of the Bible that says, hey, when Jesus talked to Peter and Peter says, who do they say I am? Peter says, they say you're Elijah. And Jesus says, no, that's John the Baptist. He's come and gone. The only thing I got told by people that say, oh, that's not reincarnation, is it was taken out of context. But they can't tell me why. I'm not trying to tell you any of the ways are right or wrong at all. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that perception matters. And if you can see that different people perceive things differently, you don't have to believe in them, but you don't have to sit there and tell them that they're going to hell because they don't believe in hell. Why? Why tell them that? It's not your place to tell them that anyway. You're not God. It's not your job to go around telling people that they're going to hell. Why would you want to? Why would you be focused on that? Why wouldn't you be focused on loving people? Isn't that what Jesus said to do? The most important commandment. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your might. And just the like, love your neighbor as yourself. Now, I've had some people say, well, you got to understand the context of what he was saying. He was just saying that because the Pharisees was trying to trick you. So you're saying that he was being deceptive, that he didn't actually mean it? Well, no, I'm not saying he's a liar. Well, then what are you saying? I think he meant love everybody. That's the most important thing. Quit focusing on whether you're going to hell or not. Just focus on loving people. You keep looking at that goal. Everything you do is in a filter of love. You'll end up right. You'll end up doing the right thing. You can't go wrong. Anyway. Hey guys, I want to personally thank everyone for liking and sharing my videos. If you want to continue to see my content, all you got to do is press that subscribe button and I'll notify you as soon as a new video comes out. I don't get paid for any of this. So if you want to buy some of my merch, like my shirts, like Jesus is a Badass or my Don't Be a Dick shirt, you can easily go to my merch store, which is at sogtv.org, which I will have it in the description at every video. So push that, go buy yourself a shirt. I appreciate it. Have a blessed day, and I will see you at the next episode. Thank you. Covered in